This is another very sad and tragic story. And the reason I do these stories is because I keep hoping that we can wake up mothers, we can wake up women to make sure that we can help them protect themselves from these dangerous situations that are claiming too many lives every single day. I have stories like this all the time, and we shouldn't. But nonetheless, before I give you guys the details about what happened to that woman that you saw on the screen and why this man is doing that and dragging that person out of that car, the details are going to bother you. So that's fair warning. We're going to give you some disturbing details, but let me also give you a disclaimer about my kind of content. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And I actually have a theory as far as these women that end up in these situations. And again, I'm not victim shaming, not victim blaming. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to prevent more victims. Big difference. Please notate that part. I'm trying to prevent more victims. I'm trying to make sure that people like this don't have an opportunity to disrespect children and disrespect women, because that's where my heart is. Okay? Advocates for children first. The food that you guys saw on my screen, oh my goodness, the video was so disturbing. And matter of fact, I think I need to give you actually a different type of disclaimer, a slightly different disclaimer. Let me see, because this might be a little bit disturbing. The following video contains material that might be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. So before we watch those news videos, that is your other disclaimer. Why do women want bad boys? The thing is these type of women, not all, but these type of women, in my opinion, want these type of bad boys because they believe that their bad behavior will only affect people outside of the mother and her children. Let me say that again. Their mentality is they believe that the people that they're dealing with and having sex with and producing kids by, and they feel like are in love with them and they love them, they believe that their bad behavior that is not conducive to a productive society, whether it's drug dealing, whether it's gang banging, whether it's non-law abiding, they believe that that type of behavior will affect everybody else, but it won't affect them, which is still selfish in nature, until it comes home to bite you in the rear end and cost you your life or your children's life. Then now we're sitting here putting up GoFundMes. We feeling sad for you. We crying. We spraying T-shirts. We're printing T-shirts. We're trying to sell dinners and putting up GoFundMes and hoping that these benevolent white people will turn around and come donate to your GoFundMe accounts, right? And feel sad and sorry and hope that people will have this undying love for people that they didn't know, because we are making choices that are not good choices. I'm getting this story from lawandcrime.com. Thank you for the article. A 33-year-old man from New York may spend the rest of his life behind bars, which we hope so, for killing his 29-year-old pregnant girlfriend 3 months before she was expected to give birth. She was having unprotected sex, allegedly with this fool, and got allegedly pregnant by this fool. And I say alleged for a big, big reason. Strangling her to death and then dumping her body on the side of a highway, which I have that video, but it's blurred out, but it is disturbing nonetheless. Dumping her body on the side of the highway before fleeing the scene. Queens Supreme Court Justice Kenneth Holder on Wednesday ordered Gooey Charles, or Goey, Goey. That's a weird name. Goey Charles is that fool's name. To serve the maximum sentence of 25 years to life in a state correctional facility for the 2020 slaying of Vanessa Pierre, authorities said. Look at that, man. Just dragged her out as if he was laying out some luggage on the ground and just left it. A jury in Queens County earlier this month found Charles guilty on one count of second-degree murder for slaying Pierre, who was carrying his child at the time of the cold-blooded killing. Allegedly. We don't know that it was his child. Why did he freak out like this? I'm assuming it was something, but we don't know. We asked for the maximum sentence because of the brutality of the crime and the defendant's remorseless discarding of the lifeless body of his girlfriend, the woman who was soon to be the mother of his child, Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz said in a statement following the sentencing hearing. The sentence does not bring Vanessa back, but it achieves justice in her memory. As previously reported by Law and Crime, Charles was convicted primarily based on video surveillance footage, and it's bad, man, showed Pierre alive in her car while traveling with Charles less than an hour before he was caught on camera dragging her body out of the vehicle and abandoning her on the side of a road. The DA's office said at about 2:50 a.m. on October 23rd, 2020, the footage showed Charles driving a white Dodge Challenger that was registered to Pierre. It was her car. He murdered her and drove off in her car. Registered in her name to a location near 216-07 Horace Harding Expressway. Pierre can be seen riding in the front passenger seat of the car. At about 3:30 a.m., the footage showed Charles pull over to the side of Horace Harding Expressway and stopping. He then got out of the car and started moving towards the back seat where Pierre was sitting at the time. At approximately 3:38 a.m., when a light inside the vehicle illuminated, Pierre could be seen moving around, prosecutors wrote in the release. At approximately 4:36 a.m., Charles exited the vehicle, dragged Pierre's lifeless body out of the car, and left her on the sidewalk. He got back in and drove away. At about 6 a.m., a MTS bus driver saw Pierre's body lying on the ground on the side of the Horace Harding Expressway, along with a pair of gray sweatpants, which had been wrapped around her neck. Beautiful girl. That is a hateful murder. Emergency medical personnel responded to the scene, but it was already too late. She was pronounced dead on the scene. A subsequent autopsy determined that Pierre's manner of death was a homicide, and the cause of death was asphyxia due to compression of the neck, authorities said. DNA testing also confirmed that Charles was the father of Pierre's unborn child. So there you go. Prior to her untimely death, Pierre was a nurse practitioner. Her family set up a GoFundMe following her death to raise money on behalf of her family. Charles played basketball at Herkimer Community College in New York during the 2011-2012 season. They put up a GoFundMe in the amount of $10,000 and it raised $17,400 as of, I guess the last donation came in about 3 years ago. But that's why I say when people who put up GoFundMes, I'm not against GoFundMes, but I'm just saying that people should have life insurance. That's what life insurance is for. Not because of stuff like this being foreseen, but you should just have life insurance, period. Everybody should have life insurance. But nonetheless, you put the GoFundMe up in a certain amount, and if people want to go over that amount, then they can. I don't think people should be putting up these really inordinate GoFundMe accounts. This video is a little bit disturbing, so here we go. Get ready. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And this is also my secondary disclaimer. Let me see if I can get the first one down. Content. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Your eyeballs, viewer discretion is advised. So YouTube, I have disclaimed the people. Here we go.
They cried, they hugged, and tried to console one another tonight at a vigil in Queens honoring the memory of a pregnant mother and her unborn baby murdered. 29-year-old Vanessa Pierre's boyfriend arraigned in court today, charged in their death. Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang spoke to the victim's best friend tonight.
There were memorial candles, photos of the beautiful victim, and a balloon announcing the baby would have been a little girl. All this too much to bear. 29-year-old Vanessa Pierre, we're told, was a licensed practical nurse on Long Island who was 6 months pregnant. On Friday, as you can see in the surveillance video, her body was dumped on the sidewalk along Horace Harding Expressway in Bayside, Queens. It did not take long for police to arrest her 29-year-old boyfriend, Joey Charles. Authorities believe he is the father of the unborn baby girl. Friends and family gathered tonight on the spot where her body was dumped, heartsick that someone so gentle and giving is gone.
As females, we all want love, we all want the family, we all want that picture perfect life. But unfortunately, she fell in the arms of a psychopath.
Vanessa was supposed to be here right now.
Separately, a few steps away, a group of activists spelled out Vanessa's name in candles and shared 29 seconds of silence for the 29-year-old victim of domestic violence.
It is our job to protect Black women. It is our job to uplift Black women. It is our job to love Black women.
You have a responsibility to protect every Black woman.
She was a sweetheart. She was hardworking.
Officials report Vanessa happened strangled and that the killer used her own car to dispose of her body. There are also signs she had been beaten. Her boy.
They said it's our job to protect Black women. What? Protect them from what? From dating criminals and thugs and killers and drug dealers and people who don't follow the freaking law, and somebody who can care so little about her and so little about the child that they were going to create together that they can actually kill both and think nothing of it and be remorseless? How do you protect them from the choices that they're making? That makes no freaking sense. I hate that they use those words. They're just words. It's stupid.
Boyfriend faces 25 years to life in prison if convicted.
How do you prevent her from dating a man like this? How do you do that? So since we need to protect Black women, which I'm going to agree, I'm going to concede to that. My question is, how do you protect them from their dating choices? How do you prevent them from dealing with people like this? How do you prevent them from dealing with dangerous individuals like this? How do you do that? That's what I want to hear the answer to. So to any of those people we need to protect and Black women and blah, 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 fine. Fine. My question is, how do you prevent them? How do you stop them? How do you protect them from dating a freaking idiot like this? How do you do that? Can I get somebody to holler back on that one, please? Let me know how you accomplish that. Let me tell you guys this in closing. Here's what I believe. I believe that young women like her get with these type of men because they believe that it's something special about them, something that this man wants so bad, because these women have become delusional where they think just because they see that their inbox is full, because every time they turn around, oh my God, all these dudes be trying to holler at me. Everybody wants them for sexual purposes. The numbers bear that they don't want them for marriage, but that's besides the point, right? For sexual purposes, everybody wants them. So they look at that like, okay. So people want me this bad. They're willing to say the nastiest stuff, the creepiest stuff, inboxing stuff that just, just pictures and just putting it all out there, confessing their love, and I will love you, and I would never leave you. I would die for you. I would ride for you, and all of that good stuff. Here's my question to those dissenters. How do you handle a lion? I'm going to call him a thug lion, the thug zoo. That's an AFC colloquialism. How do you handle a lion, a wild lion? How do you handle him? Want to know what the answer is? You don't. How about that? When you're asking the question of how do we protect black women, that's your answer. You don't. How do you deal with a thug lion? You don't. How do you handle a real lion in real life? You don't. Why do you think that trainers have been murdered by lions trying to tame them and handle them? Because you don't. They are carnivores. They are wild by nature. That is in their nature. Thug. He has grown up with this lessened self-worth about himself because he probably didn't have a father in his life. And he grew up to become a non-law abiding citizen. He doesn't do anything productive with his life according to society rules and standards. He's a subpar human. But somehow we think that he will be something different for me. And you try to handle that criminal mentality, that criminal individual, because you think you got something that's underneath those layers of clothes that will control a man. Oh, only to a certain extent. So you get the positives from that, but you never weigh the consequences of if that shit turns wrong and it turns bad on you. And you think that he would do that to anybody else, but he won't do it to me or my kid until he says, you know what, screw you and that kid. And this is what you have. The moral of the story: lions aren't to be handled. Thug lions aren't to be handled. Thugs aren't to be handled. Non-law abiding citizens aren't to be handled. Want to know how to protect black women? Protect yourselves and make better decisions. I love you all, and I pray for you all to make better decisions by account of yourself. For you and your children, make better decisions. And I think that we can learn from this as a cautionary tale. I keep putting it on the screen. I keep telling you how to fix it. This is how you fix it. Stop messing with dudes like this, because this is the consequences. When you date thugs, you date death, and that's a dangerous thing to do. Thank you guys so much for listening to the story. Leave a comment in the comment section. I know some of y'all going to disagree, but why would you disagree when I give good advice? Can't dispute that.